Hey guys, it's Mike and you're watching That's Cool Vintage Collectibles. And on this channel we discuss a lot of different types of collectibles, but mostly music, sports, and pop culture. But I also like to feature antiques once in a while and just vintage items that I think are pretty cool. And this one falls into that category. And I hadn't done a lot of videos yet on these types of items, so I thought today might be a good day to add one of those as well. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about a crazy quilt. Stay tuned. So a crazy quilt is a quilt that is designed to be more decorative than functional, and it's often made out of really high-end materials. At the time, satin, velvet, those types of things are very expensive. And this is in the late 1880s. There was an exposition in Philadelphia that introduced the world to the idea of crazy quilts, and it swept North America. The example I'm going to show you and talk about today is one that my wife and I picked up many years ago, and it's very artistic. It's very well done. There's no structure to crazy quilts. They're all just irregular shapes of sort of high-end material sewn together, and often representing images or things in that particular family's life. And so I think this is pretty unique and one of a kind. And as we walk through some of the images on it, you'll start to see the personalities of the people who made the quilt. So here's what the quilt looks like. It's just a blast of color for the eyes. It's all kinds of irregular shapes and objects and dates and names and things sewn into one big quilt. This one actually isn't finished on the edges. It was left unfinished, but it's pretty close. And there's some pretty cool images as we sort of zoom in on some of this. The first one I'm going to show you here is a patch from the Ottawa Canoe Club 1887. And that would have been some sort of local club in the Ottawa area. So I have to figure that's probably where this quilt came from. This next piece is an artist palette, which is pretty cool, and my wife, being an artist, was certainly drawn to that portion of the quilt. The next piece, the next couple of pieces feature animals. This, of course, a black cat, could have been a family pet, as well as this rabbit, which is sort of interesting as well. Not sure what that represented. The next piece is pretty interesting. I don't know what this is, but it looks like a couple of people having a pint and a bit of a party, and possibly this is Victoria Day. I'm not sure, or some sort of independence celebration. I don't really know what this is, but there seems to be a Union Jack pictured there. I can't quite say for sure, and there seems to be some sort of beer stein or something in that one person's hand. So that's pretty cool. And who knows what significance that was. I really don't know much about that piece. So the next patch on this quilt is something I was completely ignorant of, and I didn't know much about this until I just researched this. And boy, what a dark chapter in Canadian history this is. This patch refers to the Battle of Cut Knife, which took place in Saskatchewan, and was basically the Canadian military invading a teepee settlement of Cree and Assiniboine First Nations people with the intent to kill as many as they could. And just a horrible bit of Canadian history right there, and certainly something that I had no idea was connected to this quilt at all. And this took place in May of 1885, and I can only assume somebody who lived at this house was a part of this, or knew somebody who was, one or the other. But it is on this quilt, and it remains a piece of a history for sure, but a rather dark chapter. Well, on a lighter note, a couple more interesting pieces on this quilt include this guitar, which for the late 1800s is very early, and this group of music notes as well, which is pretty interesting. So this is one of the reasons I was drawn to that quilt for sure. And there's a lot of really intricate things on here. We see some flowers and even the moon makes an appearance here. Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode on Crazy Quilts. It's not something that I'm that familiar with or claim to be an expert on, but I enjoyed having that in my collection for as long as I have, and it's a cool way to connect to the past and the people that lived in the past. And I think it's just nice to find and to preserve some of those pieces, because when they're gone, and we won't have things like that in the future. So if you have any pieces like that in your collection, I'd love to hear about it. And this channel is going to focus on all types of collectibles, primarily sports, rock and roll, music, instruments, and pop culture, antiques, and other vintage items. But that's what I like to collect, so that's what I'm going to share on the channel. And if you have that kind of interest, give us a like and subscribe and come along for the ride. There'll be lots of stories about where things are picked up. It's a brand new channel, and I'm just growing things, so we're just scratching the surface. But I appreciate all the people that have come along so far and look forward to doing more of this. So keep on collecting.